All right, folks, let's get it rolling for what you come here to see and hear. So if you got ears, you'll hear and you'll get the truth. Now, I always thought it was just me that wasn't able to communicate well with our elected managers, the commissioners. But after going to the Kent town hall on Tuesday, man, I'll tell you, you talk about failure to communicate. Luke, it is. There's a big problem. And that's why we're here right now, because of weak communications. I've been doing a little bit of poll, so I'm going to run it on you guys too, okay? I want you to raise your hand when I give you the month, and you tell me when, you raise your hand, you first heard about Enhanced Elmore. January, one man. February, March, April, May, another one, 3 people. June, a few more. July, a few more. August, most of you in August. I found out about it in May. Do I? Oh, September? Okay, thank you. Okay, third. Now, how many in here have heard of it at any point in time? Okay, so we got 2 or 3 that's never heard about it at all. Well, the poll I took, and I've been going around talking to a lot of people, is have you just heard about Enhanced Elmore? And it's 90% that says no. They haven't heard of it up to today. 90% of the people in Elmore County that I polled, and it's a small one, hadn't heard about it at all. So that's why we're here now, is to try to get an understanding of what's going on so that we can make a decision on November 4th. Because that's about the only thing we've got left to make a decision. You know, there was a lot of people when up in Kent that said, whoa, what's going on? I mean, how come we didn't get to vote on this stuff that's already in place? And the reason is straightforward. We elected managers to manage the county for us and to be our representative. And there's certain things that they can do on their own. And some of the taxes, you'll see that they had full authority to do what they did because they're our elected commissioner. So we got to understand if we're not involved, just them, and they're not telling us, then both of us have got a problem. So we got to work on that because here we are at a pretty tough time. Now tonight, I'm gonna give you a presentation different than what we did at Kent, and I wasn't running it, but Brad was, and he was taking a pretty good licking. But a lot of it, to be honest with you, wasn't anything about what's going on with November 4th and Enhanced Elmore. They were complaining about this and that, and why come you don't do this, and why come you don't do that today, about things that's going on today. And that's a big indication, if they were only focused on today, was communications are extremely weak. We finally got them back on the proper things we should be looking at, and that was Enhanced Elmore. Now, I got my friend Scott. He's going to talk about some of the stuff deep in it. I'm a businessman. I own my own business. I had to make a profit or go under. I had to pay employees, good employees. I had to look at my expenses. I had to be able to manage all of that, my debt, everything. So every time I'm involved with something, my business head comes on first. So I didn't get a lot of information on some of the things that Scott's going to talk about because I didn't have that, and I didn't have the time to dig in. So what I'm going to give you is a businessman's look at what's going on here and what the commission has done. Okay? Yeah, Enhance Elmore. I don't know where that name comes. Enhance Elmore, right? I don't know. It's kind of strange, but whatever. Oop. What'd I do? I jumped two? I must have jumped two on that slit. Sorry. Oop. What's that? Oh, can't get you to run here. Okay, here we are. All right. Well, I need to go on back here a little bit. All right. A little bit, it's going to take up a little bit of the window, but that's the best way for me to work on it, okay? Here's the main project. The project is basically a jail, a new jail. It is needed. We'll have to build it, or the feds will come down here and make us fee. The jail is 30 years old. It's out of code. I'm told that they looked at it about rebuilding it and putting it in code and making it a little bigger, and it came out that it's easier and more costly if you just build a new one. Now, I trust Bill Franklin. He's a good man, and I believe what he says when he says, we gotta have this. It's the biggest part of this whole project, and it's $82 million. $82 million to build this. The other part is the extension of the judiciary area, because we got 2 more judges. They got to have offices. They got to have support. So you got to do that. That's $16 million, and then they've got $14 million for administration, for the sheriff. They've got a circuit clerk that's coming over, and they've got some safety issues they're looking for. So that all comes up to 102 million, right? 102 million. So that's really what we're talking about. Is so when you're looking at a project like this, I think of it in the word of something that's big and new that you're going to put into your life. And think about it this way: when you were young, wanted to buy a house, right? Got a family, getting bigger, need a bigger house. It's going to be a lot of money. So what do you do? The first thing you do, you find out how much you want to do. Your wife's fit, everything fits. So you got, let's say, 102 million, all right? So what do you do next? You go to the bank and you say, I want to borrow 102 million. So the banker says, all right. Let's sit down. How much money you got? Can you put this down? Can you pay this much money? Blah, 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 blah. So you start a discussion on what you're doing. So here's the house you want to buy, okay? And when you buy that house, right, whether it's 20 years or 30 years, and you get a monthly payment, right? In that 25 years or 30 years, whatever it is, it's done. Right? Got the house, got your house. Now all you're doing is maintenance, and it's great. But that's it. So here we are, we're looking for the money. How much money we got, to pay for this 102 million house. And Scott's going to go in a lot deeper in this kind of stuff. But a lot of it you already heard about it. These taxes right here were taxes that we gave the commissioners the authority to take it to the state legislature through our legislator and see if they would approve it. And that's what they did. In February, the commissioners all said, yep, 100%. This is our plan. This is our plan. This is our money. This is our money. So they took that, and Stubbs took it to the state legislature in February, and then in April 4th, the governor signed it. So it's a done deal. So now you got this much money to pay for that $102 million house, right? So you can see that, and Scott will go into it much deeper, but I just want you to understand the concept that we're doing. Here's where you look at your streams, and you decide how much money you got coming in. You've got these taxes that's in place, so you've got $7.5 million coming in every year to pay for your $102 million house, right? Okay, so this is the next one, sorry. The $102 million is what we want to spend. Here's the revenue. You got $7.5 million, right, from the taxes that are already in place. It's already there. It's dead. It's there. And then you've got 5.46, which is the county vote that we're looking at for November 4. So you've got 12 million, 96 million, almost 13 million to deal with, right? Boy, oh boy, this thing's so messed up. Daggone. I don't know how this thing got messed up here like this. It seems like there's something. So, you go to the bank next, right? You got 102 million you want to borrow, right? So, you can get a bond for 20 years at 4%, and the payoff, you pay $7.42 million a year, okay? This 4% was what I had, what happened? No signal. All right, so, okay, so now the bank's told you for that $102 million, yep, you're going to have to pay $7 million a month or a year, okay? So when you go through this, then they don't need the $5.46 million from the rest of the program. They don't need the money that you're going to vote on for November 4th. They don't need it. They got enough money already through the first set of taxes. So we can vote and vote yes, and they'll have more money, give them a Visa card, or you can say no, I'm not going to do it. And it don't bother nothing. They've got enough money to build everything that's in there already. So that's what we needed to know. What is it really that we need? Now let me find the last one. So there we are. You don't need it, vote no. Oh man. Boy, I don't know how these got in turned around. Okay. All right, this is the last one. You know where we're at now? We know where we're at now? With our house, We got a lot more money than we need to pay for that house. So, why would you do it, right? You don't need to put more money in it. You got it. Now, the needs, though, beyond their needs for this project, they've got the money already in place to do it. So vote no in November. They don't need the money. Don't give them extra money. Here's the next thing, though. Here's the next thing that you got to know. When you go to that banker and he loans you $102 million, right? And he says that's for 20 years. 20 years. We do that all the time, right? After the 20 years, we don't have to pay more payments, right? What the commission did was they said this $7 million, is forever. Even after the 20 years in the jail's paid for, they're going to keep this. They're going to keep it forever. So your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren are going to be paying this money for what they're going to spend now on your house. Now, would you want to do that? Do you really want to do that? No. So what we're saying to the commission, that you put that bill in place and you had it rubber stamped. We want it amended so there's a sunset. If it's 20 million or 30 million, whatever it is, after they pay off all that stuff that they said they need, 102 million, it goes back to what it was before. And to me, we got to do that. There is no way in the world you would keep paying payments on a house that's already paid for. They'll just want more money, more money. So, to me, we got to do a couple things. Number one, we got to really get focused on voter participation. They always have special elections on certain things that they want to because they know that the voter petition is going to be very, very late, very, very small, probably 28%. And the county is the biggest employer. They've got to have some kind of pressure on their own employees. They can win that if only 28% come. They'll win it. They'll win it. We can't do that. We've got to get 35, 40% participation. Now, normally we would have gotten that. If they'd have done this last election cycle, this past in 24, they could have put that on there. They already knew how much money they wanted. They already knew how they were going to get it. Why did they wait? They waited so they could have a special just one thing happening. And most of the time they'll get them. They'll get them. They'll spend, I don't know what, I've heard numbers from 100,000 to 500,000 to put on one special ballot in our county. Now, why would you do that? They do that so they got a better chance of getting it. They already got it in their hand, but they'd like to have a little more. So from a business standpoint, I say it's a straight deal. Don't give them the money on November. Don't do it. The other thing we got to do is we got to improve communications with the commission. We can't keep doing this. This is at least the third time I've been a part of something that they've done. Just last year, did you know that they took away our right to vote for the superintendent of schools? Do you know that? That's right. That's right. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? And why did they not tell us? Because they want to run it. Now, the only thing, you can have your turn later, sir. No, you can have your turn.
You're right. I went to the school board when I first got on the
So, so what we should have also, if they've got to change this, if they can put a bill in there and get it approved, they can also put an amendment in there and get approved like we want. They could also give us back the right to vote on the superintendent of schools, because that's the only lever we had. Now, if you read Enhance Elmore, they say the schools are in great shape, good proficiency, less than 50%. Well, we might be pretty good as it's rated in Alabama, but we're not good at all. Man, everything. So anyway, that's my part of it. I'm going to turn it now over to Scott to get into the ditty stuff that they want to talk about.
I'm going to keep it short. I'm here just to, since the fire department is the priority now, I'm going to touch base on some of the facts that I've dug up from the IRS, where the money's going, how much is going to each fire department. So how many of us were under the understanding that this money was to help volunteer fire departments? Okay. Well, in 2016, I've got from 2016 to 2019, I have the financials on who got what and how much. Now, for some reason in 2020, they decided to check no on the tax forms, and they didn't have to include the schedule showing where the money went and how much. But in 2016, the Wetumpka Fire Department, which is a city fire department, funded by city funds, out of the $1.89 million of total revenue in 2016 that went to the Elmore County Firefighters Association, $262,793 went to the City of Wetumpka Fire Department. Santuck Volunteer Fire Department got $45,000. Titus Fire Department got $32,000. I'll skip on down to Millbrook. The Millbrook Fire Department got $365,165. That's why our volunteer fire departments are hurting, because they're not getting their share of the money. Total revenue, almost $1.9 million in 2016.
Could you tell me
How much Hopeville? Hopeville got $70,543. Tallahassee got $87,871. Let's skip down to Redland. They got $89,000. It's understandable. They got a lot of people there. All right. Lightwood got $20,000. Deatsville got $26,000. Emerald Mountain got $55,000. Real Island got $17,000. Red Hill? In 2016, Red Hill got $43,502. That was 16. 2017, total revenue, $1.88 million. Again, Wetumpka, $263,522. Go down to Millbrook, $365,666. The municipalities in this county are getting twice, sometimes up to 10 times the amount than what a volunteer fire department is getting. That vote was put in to help volunteer fire departments, not city-funded fire departments. The city of Wetumpka now they collect a 9.5% tax rate. There's no reason they can't fund their own departments. Same way with Millbrook.
Look, casino gives $25,000, $50,000.
Yeah, plus they get their money from the. Now, the only stipulation to this is none of this money can be used to pay salaries or any kind of insurance, retirement, or anything like that. But it can be used to purchase equipment. That's why Wetumpka and Millbrook has the finest equipment in the county, because they have the money to buy it. That's why our volunteer fire departments wonder when they get a call if their truck's gonna even crank, or if it's gonna even pump water. Because they get the raggedy stuff because they have to go to auctions and buy stuff that's already wore out, because they're not getting the money. I blame it on the commissioners because they send this money to the Firefighters Association. There is no reason that Elmore County should have a Firefighters Association if that's the way the money's gonna be distributed.
I know they got a lot of money at one time from the Fort Creek, and that's the way they got to become a full-time fire department. And also, they put a fire department over there at Fort Creek Indian Casino, and they did it over there, turned it into something else, and they put them in down there. Now, when we find out from the county, you find out from the county commissioners, find out if they are, because I thought Fort Creek was funding, we took Indians.
Wow. I don't, all I know is, I know that the county sends the money to the Firefighters Association, and the Firefighters Association distributes it out as they please. And you see where it's going. Now, this has got to stop. They're wanting more money for property assessments to fund the $22.50 is what it's gonna cost us extra for the fire departments, on top of the 50. I don't have a problem. I have nothing, I am pro-fire, fire departments. I'm pro-law enforcement. But there's a time that the spending has got to stop. And there is, like I said, all of these small fire departments that are suffering, and Wetumpka, Eglectic, Millbrook, Coushatta, all of these municipalities getting all the money. And then as far as Coushatta goes, I know why they have a problem with the Firefighters Association. Is because in 2017, they got $26,000. You come to 2019, they only got $9,850. Coushatta. But now they're a municipality, so they should be funding their own fire department, the way I look at it. Because they're getting tax dollars from their town. Now, I don't have a problem with, yeah, they might need a little help because they are a small town, same way with Elmore. But to get the money that they're getting, and our Titus Volunteer Fire Department, our Bike Volunteer Fire Department, Lightwood, Real Island, all of them, they're getting scraps. That's the problem I have. So somebody's got to make a change, and it's the county commission's responsibility to go to the Firefighters Association and tell them, y'all gonna have to be a little bit fair about it. We're not gonna send all of our taxpayers' money to the cities when the cities do not contribute to the counties.
How much does the Bar Association take from that money?
Supposedly, they can't take no more than 5%.
Do they still, when it's collected, does it still go to the state, then to the forestry commission, to get their cut, and the Elmore County to get their cut?
I don't know the
That's the way it started in the beginning.
As far as I know, it goes straight to the Firefighters Association from the county, and they, as the more hands it passes, the more money that gets divvied out in fees.
When we first started it, the forestry commission, because of the rural areas, got a percentage of it to cover the rural areas for grass fires, tree fires, forest fires, stuff like that. But these volunteers don't have the equipment to do.
That's
We don't
what
have
our
the big
association-
tractors, we don't have them.
That's
So
what
they
our
got a
association-
3% cut of the money coming from all the houses.
Now, the fire station they get a cut. They get a percentage of whatever, they get 5% of whatever their total revenue is.
Part
No, the Fire Association, Firefighters Association.
Fire Association, they're the ones that actually cut the checks for the volunteers. But, for the volunteer department, but when it used to be collected, when the money was collected, it went through the state board, because it
I
didn't
mean,
go straight.
that's a question you're gonna have to ask the commissioners of how many hands touch that money before it gets to the fire departments.
Before, and everybody got a percentage up to 3%. So you're talking about 12% of the $25.
Right. Yeah, the more hands it touches, but like I said, I just started this, I just got into this yesterday. I worked on it all day yesterday and all day today, pulling tax files and getting up figures. And if anybody wants to see the figures, I've got them on paper. And they are accurate, according to the tax files. If somebody says they're wrong, then somebody needs to call for an audit through the IRS and have them audit their taxes again. Because this came straight off the IRS website. And it's the Form 990, which is a nonprofit, and it's made out to the Elmore County Firefighters Association. Yes, sir.
Who makes up that firefighters association?
Who makes it up?
Who is it made up of?
All right, so every fire chief in the county is on the board.
They would all get a vote on how the money is divided up, right?
I don't know how it goes. I'm assuming that they would have to take a vote, but then again, I look at it that if you've got Seaman Fire Department getting $27,000, and they're in there, and they see that Millbrook's getting $365,000. I mean, if I was a fire chief of a small volunteer fire department, I'm going to voice my opinion about it.
Well, if you recall, Tuesday night, they said that they're required to fill out certain paperwork and submit it, and if they don't get their money.
Right. And I can speak of this right now. Casada is supposedly 3 years in the rear because they can't, other than not filling out their paperwork right, there's some other problems, which I kind of looking at the figures, I kind of see what the problems stem from. But so, I mean, but my thing is that if the paperwork's not filled out right, the Firefighters Association should have somebody that goes to that department and helps them fill that paperwork out correctly to make sure that they get their money. Because why would you want to hold money from a fire department?
So you can clean up the bill.
That's what it seems like.
The way it used to work is that the county representatives, all the fire chiefs, they lay out maps for the district. For every house, they have counts for every house. Okay, if you've got 500 houses, you get your $525 or whatever it may end up being. For us, it's less than 21 for us. Every business, you get that. That's the way it was supposed to be divided up. The cities had an option, and this was first said, not to go this route, and they would have been excluded from it. Just cities, not towns, and, everything, just the cities, Tallahassee, Wetumpka, and Elmore. Those three had an option to get out of it, and they chose not to because they wanted their money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Why would?
The amount of money they get, they can be a department. They can have firefighters on site 24/7. But the money that they're getting, they decided that's what they were gonna do, so they wanted the money. So when they got the money, they were gonna make their three cities full-time employees. They were gonna make full-time firefighters, not rescue, because you couldn't spend the money on rescue for that fire.
Well, I mean, as far as, you know, we can back up to the sales tax that was passed. You know, they call it a levelized tax. My definition of a levelized tax is if they were gonna put 4.5% on the board, they should have done it all the way across the board. But instead, if you live in a rural community, you get the brunt of the tax. So you're paying a 4.5% sales tax on everything you buy in the rural community. Now, you go into Wetumpka, if you live in Wetumpka, you only got gouged for 0.5%. If you lived in Tallahassee, Eclectic, Casada, they were at 10%. You don't pay anything. The county gets nothing off of those municipalities. But they're gonna get 4.5% off of everything the rural communities buy in the rural community. So when you go to your store, Dollar General, whatever, it's 4.5%. Me as a businessman, I order all my materials shipped to my house. I was paying 5% tax rate. Now I pay 9.5% tax rate. So hell, I might as well just go on to Montgomery, pick it up straight from the supply house. And then just take,
Sneak this stuff in, I mean, there's nobody knows nothing about this.
Lack of communication. It was, put forth by your legislative that sponsored the bill, when they were asked by three of them, which included yourself. And it was done in. They supposedly put it in the newspaper because they have to say that they get it out to the public. Suppose they went out on WSFA and had a little insert, but people like me that work all day long don't watch 12 o'clock news. And then you have Tallahassee Tribune and Wetumpka Herald that nobody picks up anymore. As long as they put it out, they were allowed to do it, so.
it goes back to Mr. Borwine saying lack of communication. That's what it is. Because if you can go on Facebook right now, and most likely you'll see their Facebook page that they created promoting the Enhance Elmore. Why couldn't they create a Facebook page back in January to let everybody know what was going on? Because they didn't want everybody to know what was going on.
They're a bunch of sneaky peas, okay? If they were men, they would have had a referendum or something and let people know what's going on.
So even with this bill coming up on November the 4th, when the ballot comes out, you'll notice, rather than having two votes, one for the vape and tobacco tax, which that probably would have passed, and they would have got that money. But instead, they want to insert the assessment into that one vote. So when you go vote, you're voting one time on both taxes.
I brought that up the other night in Kent.
Exactly. I remember.
And be
When
careful
that
what
ballot
it
comes, when
says.
that ballot comes
Be
out,
careful what it says.
in big bold letters, it's gonna say the vaping and tobacco tax, and then if you got a 25-foot magnifying glass, you can read the rest of it.
The bottom line is, we got to educate people, because I've been guilty of it before. You go to vote, they have amendments on the ballot, you read the bold print, you don't read the fine print underneath it.
Can you talk about what you had listed on the other spending on the bills and stuff like that, and how much was just recently put out over the past year on this that?
I mean, yeah, we can talk about the money, the 58 million, almost $60 million that they took out bonds, so basically they had to take out a loan on it. So they decided they wanted to invest $35 million into 17 Springs over in Millbrook. It's going to benefit the whole county. It ain't benefiting me. It ain't benefiting none of y'all in here. All right? Just like these football fields at the schools, Holtville, Eclectic, and Tallahassee. $5 million per field is what it costs to have those fields turfed. All right? Those kids were doing fine on grass. In fact, I've even had parents call me and tell me that they were doing fine on grass. They don't know why they put turf down. But if you hear the commissioners talk and other people in the county, man, that's the greatest thing since popcorn. I mean, hell, our kids love it. Well,
Put it on the baseball fields right now.
I'm fixing to get to that. So, then on the Wetumpka Baseball Complex, rather than letting the city of Wetumpka pay for it, the county jumps in and decides they will put the bill on it.
Well, of course, because they're getting extra 4.5% now. that they-
But it's going to benefit, most of all of us live in the rural communities. It's going to benefit all of us in the rural communities.
I wouldn't want to be standing on one of them fields in June out here on a 95-degree day with all them tires up under me. I wouldn't.
But just take 17 Springs, for example. All right, if we go over to 17 Springs to watch a tournament or whatever they're having, we got to pay an admission just like everybody else does. Well, we're the ones paying for it. Our tax dollars paid. They can say it's from a lodging tax or whatever. Any money that they got, that's taxpayer money. Whether it come from the state, whether it come from the county, it's taxpayer money. So somebody's taxpayer money is paying for that lodging tax.
Little cute football game now, and little $8, little, to football field, and whatever it takes.
Go over to Millbrook and poll some of the parents that their kids are still in school and get their opinion on what's going on over there, what they had to say about it, because they can't even put their logo or school name on that field. And that's their home field. But they were told they can't do it. And they all, the ones that I've already talked to, they were all fine with Foshee Field. They had no problem. In fact, they said they wouldn't have a problem right now if they moved it right back over there and they played their home games on that field.
And do you understand that AstroTurf, that a lot of your NFLs are coming back out of it because of the injuries? Because there is a higher rate of injuries, and you're gonna see a lot more kids. Also, too, I read up on it today and talked to several doctors, that if they don't properly clean that, it doesn't wash itself off like a normal field did, that all the debris and all the organisms and stuff that live in this, that if your kid.
Staph infections.
If your kid has a sore and they fall in, and Roy heard from several doctors that they've already seen kids with that played on that type field, and they get the staph infections because it doesn't wash. So if it's not properly cleaned after every single game, because the rainwater does not clean these fields. The injuries are very high. If you go and read up on the injuries, and they talk about it, your footing doesn't step into it, and the injuries are tremendously high. And that's why you see a lot of your major buildings are going back to regular fields in dirt.
And on top of that, that AstroTurf that looks so pretty when it's put down, has to be stretched once or twice a year. Somebody's gotta get paid to do that.
Well, from what I understand, that's part of the contract. First, I still haven't figured out what the time length is, but let's just say it's 5 years. The turf's got to be replaced every 8 to 10 years. So if the contract runs out in 5 years and it has to be replaced in 10 years, then that's another 5 years they got to pay somebody to come in and stretch that field every single year.
They find out what county commissioner's got stock in that evergreen company that's putting that turf in.
Going back to that.
Well, we're not going to get into that today. That's going to be saved for a later date. The what?
If you got, okay, just say if you had 400 acres of land, but they was in 100-acre increments. Is that $100 that you paid, just $25 for each one of those parcels?
Do they touch? Do they touch?
No,
If they don't touch, you pay $25 per parcel.
that's $100 that they paid, but you gonna pay, how much, $150 on your house, and added to your.
Now, I have heard that, the commissioner can, they can take care of it for you. So I guess they can pull strings. So my thing is if they can pull strings, hell, they might as well go on and pull strings for all of us.
Yeah, I won't mind a bit of it.
Hey, y'all just make
So-
sure that when you go home this week, you make sure if you've got farmland or any land that's got trees or being cut or anything, that you actually go in and you apply for current use. The little lady down there, she'll email it to you, she'll fill it out for you, I just got mine 2 days ago. I do have cotton on my land and I do have trees on my land, so it's just to be current use. So-
And I just want to say one thing before I step away, and then they can come up and talk, and y'all can ask them questions or whatever. I'm going to vouch for Brad Davis. I've known Brad Davis for 25 years, probably longer than that. Brad's a great guy. Brad walked into a bad situation. Okay? All of this stuff was done before Brad Davis took office. I feel sorry for him because he's the one that's going to take the blame for it. Huh?
He took office when?
In January.
Just so everybody knows.
Well, no, it actually, it was in November.
Just so everybody knows, what walking into it is, that he was recently elected.
Yes. He just, because the previous commissioner decided to retire. And he got out while the getting was good. He's, you know. So, well, like I said, we're not going to get into that right now. That's for a later date.
But let me remind y'all, please, call your county commissioner about the current use, whoever's in your district or who's ever in your district, and even in Elmore County. You have until the end of this year, is it the end of this year?
Well, you can do it any time of the year. October 1 is generally the time when the new tax bills start.
So please, if you got any trees that you cut, any farmland or anything like that, Brad will talk about a little bit more. I just got mine today, so I got a complete routine that department down there, that girl named Lincoln, I called her, within 15 minutes, I had an email, she had it filled out. So,
Just anything.
Five acres or more.
Yeah, anything over 5 acres.
5 acres or more.
I wasn't going to bring this up tonight. I was going to save it for later date, but why- since I'm up here, I'm going to go ahead and bring it out.
I got a win.
Mr. Davis probably don't know nothing about it. I'm pretty sure Mr. Hill does because he was in office when it happened. I found a state of Alabama examiners of public accounts. It's an audit that they did on the county from back right after COVID. They were found to have misused COVID money. I have all the documents right. It's a 97-page document. You can go online and read the whole thing. I just printed off the most important stuff, which was what the examiners wrote, and then the last 2 pages was from the county, their response. They claimed it was clerical error. Of course, you know, they wasn't going to admit to it. But my thing is, why was the county even getting PPP money?
Because
I mean,
I have to vouch for that being in the position I am. I'm gonna go against you on this one, I'm sorry, I don't know when to do that. Everybody should have been eligible to get PPP, because if you had people who work during that time, you were allowed to actually apply for that, and to apply for it, you had to fill out documents that were like this, and provide all kind of backup to do with payroll. There are people that didn't stay at home, I can tell you, you had to have people fill in roads, do other things, come in the office, and still do your taxes at the end of the year, they still had to be paid, somebody had to be there to do that. But they were allowed to draw from PPP just like any other city, just like any other county, and big funds for it too, because they actually had people working during the time. That's what the PPP money was for. Way it was used, I mean, you look, in my area, we have more restaurants and boutiques and taxi drivers, and I live out in the middle of the woods, so, I mean, we had a steakhouse in off Dark Corners, and I didn't even know that, but in boutiques, but, I mean, yes, and I'm glad you get audited, because it's been used, you will be audited, because they built up their research, a lot of people are being caught by now for some misuse of funds. So, everybody's allowed to get the PPP funds if you apply for it.
Well, commissioners want to say anything?
You want me to come up there?
Come up here if you want to, so everybody can hear you.
When was that call? Do you have a date on it? Just let me know.
All right, so an audit was conducted on the Elmore County Commission, Elmore County, Alabama, for the period of
But that was the dates that they did it through, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
The audit was done in 2023.
Okay.
Were you aware of it?
No. I didn't come into office, I was appointed in '22. And I didn't, the time that the money from, the COVID money that every government agency got, I mean, it's Biden.
Did you know of the audit they did in 2020?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But
At
that,
the top of the response page,
yeah, who,
Henry Hines, District 1, Matt Dodger, District 2, Dennis Hill,
District 3, yeah.
Bart Mercer, District 4, Desiree Lewis Jackson, District 5. That was on March 15th of
20.
2023.
I don't remember if I went to the you know, they have a thing afterwards that they talk to all of us about, but the actual period that they were auditing, I wasn't there, so I don't know. I know we had that, and the answer, I'd have to go back and pull it up and look what the answer was. I don't think they penalized us on anything, so undoubtedly, you know, they cleared up what was wrong. So anyway, I mean, it's Scott.
This is what the audit findings.
Yeah, tell us.
A problem was found with the commission's internal controls over compliance for its federal assistance programs, Exhibit 17, and it is summarized below. 2020-001, the commission received reimbursements of coronavirus relief funds in excess of what was allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Commission members and administrative personnel, as reflected on Exhibit 14, were invited to discuss the results of the report at an exit conference. Individuals in attendance were Walter R. Byer, that would be Richie Byer, the fourth, Chief Operating Officer, and Bart Mercer, Commissioner representing the Department of Examiners of Public Accounts for Chris Lee, Audit Manager, and Kathy Roberts, Examiner.
Okay. Like I said, the period they audited, I wasn't there, so I don't know what was done, but I'll find out, and I'll be happy to tell anybody. Y'all, if y'all got a pen or something, I should have brought my cards, I forgot. Write down my number. I'm in District 3. I don't know how many of y'all are District 3 folks, but I'm in District. Oh, I'm sorry. I did that the other day. Somebody said, why are you introducing yourself? Everybody knows you. My name is Dennis Hill. I'm a District 3 Commissioner. I have worked in law enforcement. I'm on my 36th year in law enforcement, and I was very fortunate. All of it's been in Elmore County. 21 years with the state, and then started with the sheriff part-time in 2011. I'm sorry. Most people, I've chased most people's kids through the woods at some point in time, and maybe some of y'all, I don't know. But what I wanted to talk about, since you brought it up, about the jail, it's going to take, right now, we have an estimated cost of $82 million. And then we have an estimated cost for the other building, which they have started on. That $82 million may go up, may go down a little bit when we finally get the final drawings or whatever you want to call it, but everything nailed down hard. They're still making some changes that needs to be done and stuff. But by law, I can't tell you whether to vote for it or not, okay? All I can do is give you facts. Personally, the jail will get built. I'll just tell you that. I don't like it that way, but that's what's going to happen. We've already had the state fire marshal come in and tell us that we are overcrowded and we're going to have to do something. I think the only reason they hadn't pushed the issue was we started getting the plans together, working on this. The sheriff came to us not quite 2 years ago and told us, hey, we got a problem in the jail. We have got to get, we're having constant overcrowding. I want to say there was about 83 people over. Hey, grab my water. Would you grab my water? I get to talking, I go dry. Oh, all right. Now, like I said, the jail is set up on a 30-year payment. Be a 30-year note. Now, you talking about sunsetting and stuff? Well, we got to keep it for 30 years because we got to pay it off. All in total, it's probably going to run close, a little over over $6 million a year for both buildings. Okay? Now, like I said, the reason that we're doing this is the overcrowding. That jail, matter of fact, I was one of them to help move the prisoners in there, and I walked in, and I'll never forget thinking, boy, we'll never need another jail in Elmore County. Holds 242 people, we're good. Now we're running anywhere, like you said, from what I've seen, normally from 50 to 100 people over every day, overcrowding. I can tell you this, there's some folks out here on the internet are putting an ad out. If you've ever been in the Elmore County Jail, you've been abused, you hadn't been fed right because of the overcrowding and stuff, you know, contact me. You've got a lot of groups out here, the Prison Project, the Arise, just different groups that they come after you. And fortunately, we ain't had none of them yet, but it's just, I think, a matter of time. But like I said, y'all, if you don't want to vote for this, I don't care. It's your choice, you know. But I can tell you this, what's going to happen, because me and the sheriff talk all the time about it, we're going to get back down to less than 242. We're going to have to. We're going to have to get that point. Now, and I'm telling you that because I'm going to tell you something else. This is what makes me real mad about things. 2 weeks ago, I was monitoring a case for one of my constituents. Her sister-in-law, ex-sister-in-law, called her one night and says, I'm out here off of Rifle Range Road on Rock Springs. My husband has beat me up. Come to find out, they go out there, looks like she's been drugged down the road, had 2 teeth missing. Okay? They took her to the hospital. They arrested the guy, put him in jail. He bonds out just like that. He goes to court 2 weeks ago. He's charged with a felony. Okay? She calls me up and said, hey, can you find out what happened with the case? Now, I will tell you this. As soon as the guy got out of jail, the woman went back to her. And I'll talk about that in just 1 second. But anyway, he got to court, and basically because he did not do enough damage to her, beating her up, dragging her around the road, knocking 2 teeth out. If that'd been my daughter, I'd killed him. But you know what the Supreme Court says? That's not enough to charge him with a felony. He got charged. They reduced it to a misdemeanor, gave him 1 year probation, and bless his heart, he's got to go to anger management school. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. That woman, and we've seen it many times, all of us, have something happen, they go back to them. We recently had to go through a school on victims and abuse and stuff, and it's amazing how people's minds work. You know, they feel like, hey, he's all I got, or she's all I got. And it happens to men too. She's all I got, he's all I got, I got to go there, he's got the money, he's in control. Now, I told my friend, I said, well, you know this is not going to stop. He's going to beat her again. Okay? And then at some point in time, she's going to take a chance of getting killed and stuff. But he's out. All right? Well, if we have to start letting people out of jail, who's going to pick the least of them? You done seen a man beat his wife about half to death, and they drop it to her. I called the DA's office. I was hot about that. But she said, hey, it's the Supreme Court. It's the law. Well, what I fear about is letting people out of jail. Now, we could do like Watauga County and take 100 of them, or well, actually, you're probably going to have to get down to about 130 or less, because you got the courts constantly sentencing people. We had a judge down there a few months ago, had 31 people in court. She put 30 in the jail. We were already overcrowded that day, so she put another 30 in there, which I love. I think they should. I work child support court. We got a judge now, you know, he puts them in jail, sends them over to me. I pat them down, cuff them, pull the billfold out. Your Honor, they got literally $140 in this billfold. He says, take it and give it to the clerk, put it on his child support. Okay? So the judges are trying. Now, the problem is having places to put people. I think about that lady. If we had been able to put him in jail for 6 months, just 6 months, and the people out here and the resources for her, she could have got away from that man. They would have set her up, help her break that cycle, and do that. And that, to me, is very important to have these people in jail. But we're not going to be able to do it. I mean, we got to make a choice. Either we move them all. Talbot County went a month ago and had to pick up 66 prisoners in one day from all over the state. Took every officer they could find to go get them. Brought them back. Probably had 15, 20 minutes in jail. I mean, not in jail, excuse me, in court. Then they have to load them all back, take them back to wherever they're at. And Talbot County's prisoners are scattered all over the state. Same way with Macon County. Macon County asked the sheriff, would you please take some of my prisoners? Sheriff said, I'm overcrowded, I can't. Now, we have two county prisoners there from another county. We have 2 from Talbot. Sheriff asked our sheriff, look, and I describe them, excuse my language, Billy badasses. They bad. You don't want to have to travel with them in the back of your car for miles and miles. So we took 2. They're over here, so when it gives them a chance, when they come get them, okay, they can take them, you know, they don't have a long way to take them. And that ends up being a safety thing. And trust me, I saw an inmate over in Talbot County we were taking over to give them at where's that restaurant? They changed their logo and went back. But Cracker Barrel, yeah, thank you, at Cracker Barrel. And the officer was bringing him back over here, and the car was moving, and he was able to kick the door open, the back door, which is locked, and get out in a fight right there at the interstate, you know, under the interstate took place. So, yeah, there's a reason you want to have people close by.
That's where you go out like you do, where that motor sticking up out of the hole.
Yeah. I got a thing, I just put around their legs and shut the door on them, you know. And then I tell them if you do anything to me, and I probably get in trouble with this, but I look at them and say, look, I'm too old to fight. I will kill you. I will shoot you dead, and I don't care what happens to me. That's right. I'm 66. I'll shoot you dead. Carry a gun everywhere I go. All right, let's get back to this. 30 years to do the jail. Having a special election. The reason that we're doing this is that we got to get this done one way or the other before we get in more serious problems with this. Folks, the fire marshal can come in there and shut us down. You know why the Talbot County lost their jail and stuff? All the mold and but the locks were bad too. State fire marshal come in and said, y'all got to do something about it. This jail is not fit to have people in it. And so something happened between the sheriff and the county commission. They still don't have it fixed, but I will tell you this, the fire marshal come over there to get a warrant on the sheriff to arrest him. And they can do that if you don't follow their orders. But anyway, I think we're in pretty good shape because they know we're working, we're trying to do something. All right, the cost of the election is going to run between $80,000 and $84,000. Not $100,000, not $500,000, $300,000. I'm like you, I've heard so many different things. But that's what we got it budgeted for. Now, just so you'll know, you can go look at our budget. For this year, we've got $300,000 budgeted for elections. This one, the primary that they're going to have in March, April, and then if there's a runoff, then we'd have to do that. But if it's not a runoff, we save that money. So it just depends on how that comes out. Now, you're talking about paying for city fire departments. I've got, let's see, I got Santuc, I've got Wetumpka, I've got Emerald Mountain, and I got Redland Fire Departments. So, like he says, I can look and see what's given to them. I went and talked to the chief at Wetumpka a few weeks ago, and I said, you know, I know you're getting over $200,000, you know, this year for fire, and that's, you know, that comes from the $50 fee that everybody pays. Now, think about it, Wetumpka's bigger than the areas that the small fire departments have. They're a lot bigger. Now, but what I told him, I said, Greg, what do y'all do with your money? And you were talking about equipment. Who said something about nice equipment? He said, we buy equipment with it. We have a allotment from the city. We're a budget item, okay? Now, I don't agree with that. But the problem is the county has nothing to do with the fire association, nothing. All we do is collect money for them and just turn around and you hand it to them. That's set up by law. Now, at one point, the city fire departments were not getting any money. But they went back, and I've got the bills at home, but they went back, Jack Venable was still our representative, and they got it passed where they could share in the money. And it was done legislatively. We don't do anything for them other than we do this. We pay, you know, this year it's right at $106,000. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, brother. Me and him eat together a lot, so I appreciate it. I'm down at Must Stop. Well, I hadn't this week because I got a new grandbaby today. I've been busy. But anyway, if you want to see me, come down there about 11 o'clock. Well, I can't buy for everybody. Miss Bree Love, listen, I'll buy for you anytime. She's a tailor, and I know her family from over, and I'm from Tallahassee. So, look, I want to make sure y'all know, me and Scott and her, we cut up, we disagree, but there's no animosity there between us. Okay. All right, going on. Y'all talk about no fire association, and that we don't have anything to do with that. That's set up by the forestry department. I don't know why they do it that way, but they do. And then they have the fire association. Like you said, all the chiefs get together and they decide, you know, about, well, are they in compliance? Okay? Some departments don't keep their paperwork up, and they hold the money. They don't take it. They just hold it till they get their paperwork straight. I think they said last year or year before there was only 2 that were out of compliance, and they helped them they sent somebody over there and they got their fire money and they fixed the paperwork. And the other thing I'd have to check, we do pay for a reporting system that by law they have to have. And that's at the fire association. I'm not sure what they do with that. Have you seen anything on that report?
No, I do have a quick question. You said that y'all have nothing to do with the fire association. They make the rules. So if we pass this assessment and we got that extra $22.50 going to the fire departments, well, if they decide they want to give that to Millbrook and Wetumpka, then
by law they have to. By law they have to.
they have to what?
Give that money to the cities. I don't agree with it.
So they're gonna get, so Wetumpka, and I'm just saying.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that $22.50, whatever it generates, if it generates $500,000, and they decide that $500,000 is gonna be split between Millbrook and Wetumpka, and none of the fire departments get any of it when they think they were gonna get money out of it.
Well, it's based upon the number of homes and properties that are in your district. That's why you see some get more, some get less. Now, yeah.
So like, if I pay it, Scott, it goes to the fire district in which I fall into. And then like you saw we talked about the vape tobacco tax. So the vape tobacco tax, there's 20 fire departments. There's 20 fire departments in the county. So if they take $100,000 off tobacco tax, it's divided by 20. in my law, I don't think they can do that. If they do that correctly, all they go
Yeah.
to, right?
Well, and all this was done by the Fire Association over 20 years ago. And you do, and,
That's why the fire association needs to be revamped.
well, here's the thing, and yeah, I agree. But I will tell you this, huh? Let me hurry up. But, well, I'm going, just hang on. But anyway, I understand what you're saying. But I'll end with this. The jail's gonna get built. Whether we want it built or not, it's gonna get built. Either we do it or the feds are gonna do it. That's just what it comes down to. May take another year or two to get it all done, but, huh?
We give Calvin their.
Okay. Hey, I'll say one thing. It's been a good town hall. I wish we had more of it. In fact, I wish we had this one a year ago. And then we could have handled a lot of this stuff. So I think everything that come out right now, without a doubt, we've now heard from the commissioner that they've done a 30-year bond. I had a recommended for 20, that they would eat to 7 million. At 30 years, they'll only need 6 million. Even more of a reason not to give them any more money. So, no. The commissioner just convinced us. Ain't no question about it. Now, the other thing I got to question him about is he said that they got to go so fast. We got to get this thing, settled on the additional money before they could start building. They're getting building. They're already building, and I'll give you 20 minutes. They got the money already. They got the money already. So they didn't need to have a special election at all, no ballot. So this is why we got to get together more with these guys and hold them accountable for what they're saying. A lot of good questions, a lot of good answers to a lot of the things that was brought up. Really good. I wish we'd have done it a year ago, but we didn't. So now, as far as I'm concerned, it's no. Everybody should tell everybody, do not give them any more money. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go after sunset. You cannot pay forever. You can't do that. Not on a capital investment. You can't do it. Okay? So.
Because they want the money to spend on whatever they want to spend it on.
That's right. They already got it. They don't need the rest of it. I mean, do you do that? Do you give your kid another Visa card and tell him to take off? No. So, it's no. Thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. It's been great to get all the input. I'm great that the commissioners were here. But I'm asking the commissioners that they meet with us more often. Or we need to get a committee together that does it. Now, Brother Dorley still here? Mr. Dorley. Brother Dorley. Brother Dorley. Come here and say a closing prayer. Hey, we're having a closing prayer. Closing prayer, baby.
We need some prayer, don't we? All right, let's pray. I got a bigger mouth than everybody else because I'm one of these preachers. Well, that didn't work, did it? Let's have a word of prayer, please. Hold it up! I didn't know we had to get that loud. Okay, let's pray. Father, we love you. We thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you, Father, for the information we got tonight. We pray for all of our safety as we go back to our respective homes. I pray that, Father, everything that we do will honor and please you. And we thank you again for your Son, Jesus Christ, who you sent to die for our sins on the cross of Calvary, that we may have eternal salvation. And we ask and pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.